Recently, I opened the door to my private trading community and now it's free. I've been sharing my trade ideas for a while and most of them are very good, they're profitable. But the reason I'm sharing this is because I'm learning at the same time as you are learning, and I'm simply sharing my ideas behind every trade so that you can see how to make profitable trades. Now the community is free. I will leave the link in the description, but this video is all about how I trade in crypto, how to learn to trade in a similar fashion so that you can follow my journey and also learn yourself. So I will review some of the trades I've taken and then you will learn how to execute them yourself and follow along. So first of all, let's start with this. As you can see here, price is going down and I marked a few things. I have very few drawings in the chart, as you can see, because I want to keep things simple and focus on the essentials first. So I set up a target. That target probably is an equal highs in the higher time frame, but right now it's in the 1 minute time frame, as you can see here. And I've noticed that there's a target up there for some reason. I don't know if it's an equal highs or the price is bullish or something, but usually it's one of those reasons. Then once we see that the price is dropping, it's in the New York session. This gray area indicates that it's in the New York session. Then what I look for is simply I mark an area here, a fair value gap, an imbalance, an area where price has not, price has passed and moved on very fast. Right now you don't see that because we are very close, we're in the 1 minute time frame, but if you go to the 5 or 15 minute time frame, you will see an area, a block, where there is a space without any candles. So what I say here is if this is consumed, I will go along, and that means when price consumes a fair value gap, an imbalance, that price begins to move in the other direction because it has no longer that resistance. And there's another, you can see here, this is a fair value gap, the one small area here, that's a fair value gap, an imbalance. Once that baby is consumed, go along towards the target. That's what I'm saying here before it happened. So what I'm saying is, okay, prices start to move up, prices starting to go bullish. So what happens next is I waited a bit further, I indicated another area, and I say not the reaction I expected, but the equal highs up is a good indicator. As you can see, price moves in different ways, but the idea is still the same. There's an equal highs up there, and I stay with my idea and I look for entries. This is one of them. Then price begins to move in that direction, and I set up a take profit early because, you know, price is not very decisive. It's moving, but it's not so clear as other times. So then I set up a take profit right there. And then price continues to go. I take my profits. The trade is a risk-free trade. I made money already and there is no risk. The price continues to move. I simply hold that, and eventually it reached the area, but before reaching the area it stopped me right here. That will be my stop loss in this area. And you can see price dropped below that area and then reached the target. And the reason why I did that is because there's a huge gap here. As you can see, there's not much movement in this area, which attracts price. It's an intuitive thing that you learn over time, and also there is a trend line liquidity here. All of this empty area that is creating points in the same line, that indicates that there is liquidity, and you gotta be careful with that. So that's why it stopped me out, and then it reached the target eventually. So you gotta be careful with those things. Let's take a look at another trade. Here I'm going bullish. There's something there that tells me, okay, price wants to go up. In this case, it looks like there's a relative equal highs. There's a lot of bullish momentum. And again, I'm looking for entries. There's two places here, a fair value gap. Here you see this entire candle went down without any resistance, without any, you know, movement in between. That's a potential area, and I want to go along when that area is consumed by going up. this is another area that is interesting for me. So let's see what happens. As a few seconds later, I go to the one. This is the 15-minute time frame. I go to the 1 minute. As you can see, there's so much more information here. And price simply reach out to the area here where I said I wanted to enter long. And here there's a ton of highs. You see this high, this high, this high. There are a ton of swing highs, almost in the same line, which is a great target. That is a potential target that we want to enter long. So that's exactly what happens. Price dips here, enters this area that I marked before, then it goes up and it provides me another entry where I just confidently say price is not going to go down here. At this point, it's just a lot of movement up, a lot of energy up, and it continues to go up until it reaches the target. I don't know exactly where it stopped, but it made a profit right there. So that's a trade right there. I would take it as soon as possible. As soon as these highs are consumed, I would take some profits or close the position entirely. That's a good trade right there. You see, should I spread the retracement as soon as the high was taken? This is in the 5 minute. You see the price went all the way up, but then it went down again, reaching into this area, and eventually it did go up. But same thing as before, price goes down before going up. Let's take a look at another trade idea. This is very simple. There's not much behind it, so I just simply left it there. And this is another day where I just simply set up a target and equal highs. Again, this is super clear. You see how they're almost in the same line. Those two highs are very close, and I want to go long as soon as possible. That's why I'm saying once this fair value gap is consumed, I want to go up there. And if there is a sweep, because these are equal lows, almost equal lows, then I want that to be swept before going up. But you never know exactly what's going to happen. You just can only predict things that you expect to happen. So yeah, that's what happened. You see the price, this area that I marked before, has been consumed by a slow move up, and then it acted as support right here. It goes up and then it bounces on that area, and then I look for entries and I just go along there. And that was a good trade. You see, it quickly went up there and it reached the target as expected. This was a very good trade. Once you see something so clear as that, you want to go long. You want to see entries for long. And then I continue trading. I marked a breaker here. A breaker is simply an area where there's a high, price overcomes that high and then bounces up again. It's like a supply and resistance type of thing, but in a different way. And then it set the target again to go long, and it continued to go long. And yeah, here I'm kind of overtrading. I'm saying, okay, price may go down because it just taken all of this liquidity, so it's likely to dip down and then take the high, which is exactly what happened. Price will go down here and then take this high, which is what we see happen here. You see price just bounces around, it goes down here to about this area and then here. But that's the 1 minute time frame. I don't recommend everybody to trade the 1 minute time frame because it's kind of more difficult. There is too much information and it can mislead you unless you have a very clear idea. So it continues down. I kept that trade. You see it dropped, and that's when you take profits. When you see something that is kind of finishing there, you see this, that's when you finish the trade and you close it. Now this is another day and we see some trend and liquidity on both Nasdaq and ES. I wait for an entry long. You see, every day is different. There's the same setups are not exactly the same. There's slight differences, but we always look for liquidity. We look for entries once we have an idea of where price wants to go. Now this one, I didn't take this trade, but that's the one that I showed you before. Price went down and after bouncing on the breaker, it took this high right there. So that's what happened at the end. And yeah, these are some of the ideas right here. You see there's a very clear target down here. There's a ton of energy down, there's a ton of momentum down, so price is continuing, it's likely to continue down. And this is from my experience, from my intuition, that when I see such a big candle going down, price is likely to go to the middle area, to the 50% of that candle, and then continue dropping. It's not likely that the candle will be overcome that easily, because it's a lot of energy, a lot of liquidity behind that move. So I marked the 50% level, and I expect the price to come here and then drop to this level, which is exactly what ended up happening. I go to the 1 minute time frame and I set up another 50% level, which is even more precise, and price went right in the middle of those areas. And then I look for entries to go short. I marked an area where I don't know right now, I don't know exactly why I marked this area, but that's probably a short a fair value gap that I saw. So yeah, price continued dropping, and I could have, I stopped at the breaker because I didn't want to be too risky here. But price steadily went down, and it kept going down. I could have, added a re-entry at every of these areas using market structure, because market structure tells us that price continues the same direction by bouncing and respecting the previous highs in this case when it's bearish. I know it sounds confusing, there's a lot of information here, but I hope that's clear. And if you like this content so far, subscribe, make sure to subscribe and follow along. So yeah, eventually the price reached the target. I stopped profits right there, but I could have held it, and it went down right there. So these are some of the trades that I've taken live and I've shared before they happened. So this is not hindsight. You can see the times when I shared this, and you can learn a lot of things just by the illustrations and the drawings that I make. The Discord group is in the description. This is completely free. This is me sharing what I'm learning so that we can learn together and maybe make some money with prop firms, with all the information that there is on the internet. You can learn a lot about trading. I've been doing it for 2 or 3 years so far, maybe 1 or 2, I don't know exactly when. But yeah, trading is a very profitable and lucrative career if you spend the time to learn it, to develop it. This is something that you gotta show up every day and practice it, read price, develop your intuition, your strategies, and eventually you will be able to execute trades that are profitable like this. Now, sometimes I also make mistakes. I lose trades, and those I understand why they happen and I move on, because otherwise you can get very, very angry when you lose money, because you can lose a lot of money. So you always want to be patient and look for things that are clear, like in this case. Hope you like this video. Make sure to subscribe and share it with your friends, and join my group MEV DAO. The link is in the description. Bye.